from Rain.D.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Are we cooked? Welcome back, Weeboos! We are in a very interesting time economically and financially.
In this economy, right?
Exactly. So we brought a special guest for you, okay? Because you know what? My understanding of economics is only supply and demand and equilibrium. That's all I know. That's all I know. So elasticity, whatever, all that stuff. So please welcome our special guest for today, the Chief Economist of the Indonesian Business Council, Ibu Denni Purbasari. Yay!
Hello.
Hello, Bu Denni.
Hello,
Welcome to the WIUI podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
How are you?
Good.
That sums it up.
Yeah, that sounds it.
Yeah. Bu Denni. So maybe a little bit of background, right, about this podcast. So the What Is Up Indonesia media is a media to explain about Indonesia's socio-economics, socio-politics, and sometimes cultural issues to young Indonesians who grew up predominantly internationally. So like diaspora, those who maybe go to school here but have international curriculum where they feel more comfortable digesting information in English. And so a lot of people of our audience are currently very, very anxious about the economy. And they have a lot of questions because the economy right now with the rupiah weakening, right? And then the stock is on all-time lows. I think it reached like as low as COVID. And then with the report that the GDP growth, like quarter one, is 5.61. But a lot of people are like, really? I don't feel it, and there's a lot of like mass layoff and things like that. So the understanding of economics, I would say for our audience, are like beginner to intermediary. And I think what I really want the audience to get is like a basic understanding of what's exactly is going on. And of course, we're going to talk about your background and Indonesian Business Council. But basically, why is it, I think right now it's very important for us to understand about the economy. So to start it off, for many of our audience who doesn't know who you are, can you please maybe give us a brief introduction about you? Where do you go to school? How you grew up? How did you become an economist? Silahkan.
My God, I don't know how long your program is.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, my
Can
name
be
is.
as long as you want.
It can be as long as Prabowo's speeches.
Oh, that's true.
I
It's
will
pretty
not
long.
make any comment on that.
It's pretty long.
Okay, my name is Denni Purbasari. People call me Denni.
Yeah.
Ibu Denni. Yeah, I was born in Semarang. Grew up in Semarang until high school. My parents both are high school graduates. We had a small restaurant in Semarang. And then after high school, I got accepted in Gadjah Mada University, Department of Economics, without any examinations because I think my grades was good when I was in high school. And then after that, I pursued my master's program with a Fulbright scholarship in University of Illinois, of
Chicago.
Urbana-Champaign.
Urbana-Champaign.
Yeah, and then I took a master in policy economics, and then I did my PhD in University of Colorado at Boulder, and also from the Department of Economics.
Economics also.
And also, since undergrad to the PhD program, I always took economics.
I see. So why economics?
I think the further I learned about economics, that subject become very fascinating for me. A lot of inquiries and unanswered, questions that need further and deeper understanding. But not only on the economics per se, but we have to understand the social context, the philosophy, law, and also, of course, the mathematics and statistics behind it. But when you are involved in the public policy, then it requires even more skills. Namely, you have to understand the psychology of the mass. You have to be good in communication, and also, of course, the delicacy of the vocabulary that you use, and also the responsibility behind the information that you give to the public. Partly rhetoric, but it has to be credible. It means that it should be logical and it should be delivered well, and then and it. of course, to get the support, because, well, I'm not done, right? So after I got my PhD, then I was recruited by Vice President Budiono.
I see.
To basically assist him in the Vice President office. And at that time, I was as an analyst. So PhD graduate, but analyst level, because the club of economists surrounded Pak Budiono. It's actually like very, very senior. My gap between me to Pak Budiono is more than 30 years. So I was like the junior one in the club, the club of like the best economists that Indonesia had at that time.
Were you the youngest?
Yes.
I see.
So even though I my GPA is 3.72, whatever, PhD, whatever, but I was the most stupid one in economic, Indonesian economic policy at that time. So I learned a lot, and Pak Budiono, of course, the way he led is actually by example. The decision is very evidence-based. Based on data, and I saw how difficult it is for a technocrat making a decision among politicians. Yes, so reading the lines between the lines and also rowing between reefs. I saw it for 5 years. That's the first time I worked for the government while also still teaching at Gajah Mada University.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's like from the world of the black white now becomes like an analyst. But then I was recruited as the economic deputy at the executive office of the president. That's during the first period of administration of Pak Joko Widodo.
I see.
And then that becomes like, my job, it became the policy advisor.
I see.
And at that time, Pak Teten asked me to basically brought agenda of reform to the desk of Mr. President. And the first thing that I did is actually to reform Raskin. Because Raskin at that time was like, physically delivered rice to the door of the poor people. And it basically, costs so much.
So maybe for a lot of our viewers, they might not know what Raskin is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you maybe...
So maybe you know what Raskin is.
Raskin is the rice that you give to the people, the underprivileged and poor people in society.
It's like the low quality...
Yes. And emang itu, it was a government program back in the day.
Beras,
Beras, basically. That's basically it.
Yes. And that program had been tried to be reformed like many times, but failed. But at that time, when I work with my team, of course, and then listening to a lot of the procedures of how to do public policy, desk study, look at the data, and then the literature, and is there any like best practices available in the world? But of course, whatever best practice in the world, you cannot just copy and paste to Indonesia, because you have to see the context of Indonesia, the baseline, and then the readiness of the society, and also the administrative costs and yada yada yada, a lot.
Agreed.
So at that time I was like, oh man, but for me it's like challenge. And actually when the reform was successful, but then started, if I was not mistaken, 2016, the reform started, and then the government opened up a bank account for the poor, such that the money is transferred to the poor, and the poor actually can choose and buy rice wherever they like. And from Raskin, then you try to like reform the way we give a support to the society. Now, because of any shock that actually you cannot expect, you can basically deliver the support immediately, easily,
directly to
to their bank account. So that's actually given the lesson that reform, you must do it no matter what happened to the economic context, because you never know when actually shock would happen, and when the shock happen, you are prepared.
You are prepared.
Better prepared.
Interesting.
Yeah. So can you imagine if, for example, at that time Raskin was not
reformed.
Right.
How are you going to help 15.5 million households during COVID?
During COVID.
Are you going to procure rice? How much? And who will deliver the product?
Right.
No social interactions. Everything is closed, market closed, and everything is closed. So that's why that's actually give me like a big lessons. Like, okay, this is the fruit of the reform. But the good thing is that the reform is actually supported from the top. Yeah. So this becomes
That's a
like
key.
the job. Yeah. The job of like economist at the center of the political power is to bring actually good policy, good program, and convince the leader this is good, you should do, and how to do it. Yeah. Of course, not just the dream or the ambition, but
How to do
The
it.
how to.
Yeah, because the how is actually matters so much whether it will go somewhere or it will actually achieve the goal.
That's usually
super interesting.
the make or break is usually
Did
the
I talk too
implementation.
much?
No,
it's perfect.
You're
It's perfect. No, please. Budeni, please.
Budeni, please.
We've
So-
had 2-hour conversations here. It's all good. It's all
Our
good.
audience actually love it the more you go into technical bits because a lot of our audience are actually from academic background.
Yes.
They love it when we deep dive into like a
Right.
topic really deeply.
So please don't feel bad about it.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Sorry. You can stop me anytime, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks,
No, it's all good.
No worries.
It's all good.
No worries.
So I like that because you said it's not about only the ambition but the how.
Yes.
Is that one of the main jobs and purpose of you being the chief economist at the Indonesian Business Council is to create a framework, or you? Because I heard that Indonesian Business Council is a think tank, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So in the think tank, do you propose certain policies and how to the current leadership right now? What does the Indonesian Business Council do?
So Indonesian Business Council is a foundation established by a few business leaders and industry leaders
Yep.
that may be enlightened to give back to society. So that's why this organization is very young. It's like 3 years old only.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
How
then
many years old?
3 years
Oh,
old.
very young.
And then
Very new.
what happened is the mission is actually to basically push for competitiveness and also the welfare of Indonesian society. And then how we do that through advocacy. And then we of course do research, evidence-based, data-driven, and then we try to make advocacy to the policymakers.
To the policy.
So I am from now I am from the other side.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
previously I worked for the government. After I worked for at the executive office of the president. Because sometimes politicians have certain ambitions, certain dream, and I believe that there is no bad dream, because if you have bad dream and you mention it during the campaign, nobody will vote for you, right? So the ambition or the dream, always good.
Okay.
But
the
the
how
how,
to.
yes,
That's
that's
where-
the job of technocrats in the government.
Right.
That's why at that time, like Pak Jokowi said during the campaign, I want to have a prakerja program. 2 million people will get training, free training, whether you are, korban PHK, whether you are a high school graduate, and so whether you are current workers and you want to increase your skills, government will provide scholarship for you. And then, okay,
You're like, how?
Nobody know. And
Yeah.
so think about the design.
Yeah, the implementation, the how to.
Because at the end of the period, people will ask, how are you going to deliver, or what is the result of your campaign promise? Yeah. So that's why at that time, I work as a executive director of the program management office. That's the implementation team for Prakerja program. And that's when I reflect to my career. Can you imagine from a lecturer that see the world black and white, true and false, right and good and bad?
Yep.
Now join to the government as a data analyst,
Yep.
and then as a policy advisor, and then back to the implementer. Usually people start from the something that is practical or operational to the strategic one.
Right.
Me,
The other way around.
black and white, normative to the policy advisor, and then to the
Implementation.
operational one.
And now you're back in the think tank.
Yeah, now I'm back to that. So it gives me a lot of perspective, like
Interesting.
seeing the world from different
Exactly.
point of
Interesting.
views.
And this is why I'm really excited to have you here in our podcast, because I think precisely you're an economist but have been put in different contexts, right? In the academia as a lecturer, and then in the government, and within the government, many different roles. And now you're in a think tank, yayasan. So I have a lot of follow-ups, but I do want to ask you this. You mentioned a lot about like economic policy, and then there's no bad dreams, and because it's usually all good, it's about the implementation. I am curious that lately, I feel like we always hear a lot of economic policy, or we're gonna do this for our economy, blah 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 blah. What exactly is a good economic policy in your opinion? What constitute a good economic policy for Indonesia, and what constitute, on the opposite, a bad economic policy?
Good economic policy is policy that serve the greatest good for the people.
The greatest good
For the
the
people.
people.
So if you think about society, there are two groups mainly, the producers and the consumers.
Okay.
But you know that producers driven by profit maximization, while consumers driven by utility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they want to be happy and more happy and so on. But some of the happiness actually depends on the consumption of goods and services. More consumption, better quality of consumption. And consumption here does not mean only food,
Mm-hmm.
but also education, health, leisure, transportation, good housing, good environment, clean air, and so on. Okay, including democracy, the freedom of speech. Okay, so economics actually give the idea where the economic policy should be. That's why we need to maximize the social welfare. So
Okay.
the social welfare is basically about bringing the good, the maximum good for the society. And society here mostly is, of course, the consumers. Because at the end, businessmen also consumers, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's economic policy. But that must be translated into the how. Because if the mechanism design, the policy designs are not good, you will go somewhere.
Exactly.
The
Yeah, yeah,
intention and the goal will have significant gap. And then, okay, that's normatively. But
Practically.
of course, practically, we talk about economic policy. When I reflect to my job as an economist, I know what is the norm, what is the ideal point of economic policy. But sometimes public policy, there is a bargaining process. Sometimes a give and take. And sometimes you have to be more, tolerant to something that, okay, you cannot get the ideal. But when you deviate from the ideal point, the most important, the anchor of the ideal point, and you know how far you deviate. Because sometimes, in politics, you have to be accommodative and do some compromise, right?
Okay.
There's trade-off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But of course, if you are too compromised, you are farther away from the ideal point, and you will not get anywhere. So that's why the job of the economic policy advisor is actually, okay, sir, this is what you should do. Given this problem, this is the solution. So I will not bring like a paradigm, whatever, because economist is like a doctor, I think. What you have to be sure about the problem identification, what actually the root cause of the problem, and then give the alternative solutions.
Yep.
Based on whatever, literature, theories, and, best practices, discussion with multi-stakeholders and so on. And then you come up with maybe like at most 3 alternative solutions with cost and benefit. And then, okay, you give to the boss, the decision maker, that, okay, in my opinion, this problem, these are the solutions, the alternative solutions, but given the cost and benefits, solution 1, for example. And then what do you think? And then we have discussion over there. But you cannot come up with like a solution number 4 that is not in the, the set of solutions that according to your knowledge is actually like the best solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, in my opinion, economic policy. So do not stop with just the policy, but how it is translated. Because wrong translation, wrong how, actually, will cost more in terms of efficiency loss, for example, or even the equity loss. Because, of course, politics sometimes is more populist, right? So in economics, the trade-off between equality versus efficiency. If you are more like socialist, you will pursue more on the equality, goal, but you sacrifice the efficiency.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
That's
yes.
why not too much go there because then efficiency, property will be ruined. So you have to strike the right balance.
The right
And sometimes
balance.
you have to think like not just one policy, but a matrix of policies. Because when you pursue one, maybe there is unintended consequence.
There we go.
And then you have to have policy two to tackle the
The
unintended
unintended.
consequence. So,
Okay.
so it's complicated.
No. It is very complicated, and thank you for giving that perspective. I do want
it
to.
make sense?
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Now,
It
I
makes
do want to
sense.
ask a very specific question about FHF, free healthy food. I turned it into English.
Okay.
What?
FHF, free healthy food.
That sounds a lot better actually.
FHF, free
In
healthy
English,
food.
yeah.
Okay.
I've
Now,
never heard.
I'm sure.
Free school meal program.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm changing it so you won't get in trouble. So FHF, free healthy food
Ibu
program.
udah diganti sama Andovi.
Yeah,
Ibu
yeah,
sebut.
yeah. I already changed it, and she was like, "You mean that program?" Yes, I mean that program. Now,
Lucu banget.
people like she's like, now, and this is not a gotcha type of question.
Yeah.
I'm legit curious.
Yeah.
So people like you right now are now in. The technocrats are now working under him, trying to figure out the how-to. There are people right now under him trying to figure out the how-to. And you made a very interesting point. What happens when the anchor point, it deviates too much from the dream? Right now in the free healthy food program, there's a dream from our president to do something.
And it's a good dream.
And it's a good dream. Many countries around the world
Are
have
doing
this
it.
dream.
Yep.
Now, right now, whether we disagree or not, the anchor point, there's a huge deviation towards that dream. The implementation, the how to, the so on, so on.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, where is the line in which the economists, everyone who works under says like, "Pa, here are the deviation points. It's not working." Or the other side, "Pa, it's working, but blah, 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 blah." Right? Currently, I feel like, I'm sure there are great people under the administration now that's trying to tell, "Pa, there is A, B, C, D, E. This is not going well. Let's try with E, F, A." But what happens when I don't care about the economists and think tank. Let me just pursue my dream. So what happens there? Like, how does an economist deal with that?
I think, we must start saying hold or stop to evaluate once we think based on data, efficiency property destroyed. Or it costs so much in terms of efficiency.
Yeah.
What does it mean by efficiency? This is the trade-off because, the program actually costs so much that pull resources from somewhere or other allocations
From everywhere.
to, this program.
Yeah.
So you must be sure that, okay, the trade-off not that big that makes, other good goals actually cannot be achieved or even declined. And we must be balanced between the long-term goal versus the, short-term goal. I believe that program will bring benefit in the long term.
I agree.
However,
I agree.
the trade-off then, because resources are pulled toward this program, then there must be current generation, the youth that maybe will enter into the labor force, or right now already, in the job market, maybe, basically worse off because of this program.
Right.
Yeah, because of the consequence of
The unintended
allocation.
consequence that you
Yes.
mentioned earlier.
And the second thing is that, so that one is about the trade-off.
Right.
The second thing is about the program itself, the how. So learning from my experience in Prakerja, the first 3 months, we actually invited the independent evaluator to evaluate, not using the budget of PMO Prakerja, but external budget, to objectively evaluate the business process and also the quick response of the users. Because this actually help us to what so-called, sanity check. Because maybe as an insider, if you are the program owner,
You're clouded by.
yeah.
You're
You're
clouded.
so biased, right? Because you love the program. This is
and
your
then you believe
dream.
that okay, this is the how, the correct how. That's why you need to have the external evaluators that objectively actually evaluate whether the business process, the intended consequence of the business process itself, not about the trade-off to other sectors, but to the program itself. And then okay, you have to have the courage and also internal. I always say internal insecurity to always questions. Am I going to the right direction? Is there any unintended consequence? And everything. So you keep asking yourself such that when without waiting for the result of the external evaluators, you have the internal team that always do the checking. Yeah. And then of course, if you really employ technology, like for example, contact center, multi channels, such that you can see like the complaint of the users and so on. The most important, user oriented. So what the users say, and then you try to improve, do iteration, and this continuously until the end of the programs.
Right.
Before you do like what's so called as before after impact evaluation and so on. Later, check the quick response of the users and also check the business process by of course collaborating with external evaluators who can see the programs objectively. Because sometimes we caught up with the routine. And we are busy with the administrative things, we do not have time to basically check the logic of the house.
I think the what did you call it, the
free FHF, free healthy food program.
free healthy food. I think that is such an excellent example because again, like I do agree with you when we talk about economic policy or just policy in general. There's never been like a bad goal where like my goal is to make Indonesia suffer as much. There's
No one says that.
No one says that. But it's always the implementation.
Yes.
Right? It's the messiness is always in the technicality, in the implementation. And I think the
Free healthy food program.
free healthy food program is an great example. Now, what I do want to get into like what most people are curious about is the condition of our economy right now. So right now we're recording at May 20th.
May 20th.
May 20th.
Which is actually a very historic day if you understand the history of our country right now.
Yeah.
Almost 28 years ago, a couple of students marched into the DPR. Same. I'm just saying it's a historic moment.
Well,
I thought it was
when you mentioned about historic, my brain is actually to Budi Utomo.
I was thinking about 20 of
Kebangkitan
Nasional.
Nasional.
Betul.
Yeah.
I thought about 20 of May 1998.
No, I thought it was because today our president just gave a speech about macroeconomics.
Yes. Hidup macroeconomics. Hidup.
Anyway, so the condition in our economy right now, Bo. So rupiah is how much?
As of this
second.
This second, one USD is, drum roll please, one USD is 17,697.
Okay.
So almost 17,700.
Yeah.
Angka cantik, 17,700. Very cantik.
Masih belum 17,845.
Belum.
Anyway, so rupiah, and then we have. So a lot of the public are talking about, it was just released, right? Q1 of this year was set to have our GDP increase of 5.61%. And a lot of people are like, really? Because the reality on the ground, I feel like I'm not feeling it. There's mass layoff, businesses are not doing well. And I know a lot of people who are in the traditional market, kayak pasar tradisional, and usually those are the forefront of that can really feel the pulse of buying power from the society. And even recently during end of March this year, Lebaran, usually there's an up spike, right, in buying power. And honestly, a lot of them told me that this year it's not really felt. And so the 5.61% GDP growth, a lot of people are questioning like how come it's not reflected or in our lived reality. And then on top of that, those who are paying attention to the stock market, our stock market are hitting all-time low as it has been during COVID crash.
Oh.
Now, so I know a lot of people are questioning, so what is going on?
What is going on?
And I know like it's never like a simple explanation of, oh, it's just because of this, or it's just because the government sucks. It's not as simple as that.
It's not simple as that. Right?
So can you maybe explain what is going on from your knowledge?
From your knowledge and perspective.
The answer is a policy shift.
A policy shift.
And even right now, especially today, maybe like a regime shift.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think majority of people see that, well, now the role of state in our economy is getting stronger. And it doesn't mean that we do not like the state intervention. Even Adam Smith, the father of economics in 1776, already mentioned that even in the capitalist economy, we still need the government to do three things.
Okay.
Number one, of course, defense, because there is no production or consumptions that can run smoothly if the country in war or always in chaos, or even if the security not there. The second one is to provide justice. Because justice is should be accessible for everyone, and that's why the judge and everything needs to be provided by the state, because this is not the service that private sector can do.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so the quality, rule of law, the supremacy of law must be established in the capitalist economy. Otherwise, the economy, how are you going to do contract and transaction if actually the law is
malleable?
Not,
Yeah.
So certainty. That's
Right.
basically
in which I don't think our country has right now, to be honest, in that side.
According
You
to
say
Andovi.
that.
According to
According
me.
to Andovi.
According to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then number three, public works. But in the explanation in the text in the book of Adam Smith, he also mentioned about public education for all, not only for the children, K-12 and so, but for all until adults, adults education. So that's the role of the state. But now you see that the role of the state is kind of, if this is a spectrum of ideology, left is like the socialist,
Yep.
right is capitalist. Now it swings toward the left.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, but again, it doesn't mean that the market or economists in general disagree with the presence of SOE, for example. It is okay as long as the market is contested. Yeah. So it will basically, because it is very important. Competition makes you do better and find innovation, and basically that's like the incentive to do what's so-called as creative destruction. Joseph Schumpeter and the latest, Nobel laureate in economics, already mentioned the importance of innovation, and that comes from creative destruction. But people will only do creative destruction if you have to survive. So the incentive is actually from competition. If the competition is restricted by the existence of state entities, then the level of playing field will be different, right? That's why we see that from the data that investment, for example, especially FDI in Indonesia, only 1.5% to GDP is pretty low. In fact, we believe that
What's the healthy amount?
What's the healthy amount?
Well, if we look at the peer countries like Vietnam and others,
There we go.
they can reach up to 3%
Up
of
to
GDP.
3. I see.
Yeah, so and Indonesia rich of potentials, and young democracy, and your population is very young. And the baseline is actually low. And when the baseline low, actually opportunity to grow is very big.
Yeah. Compared to like maybe a first world country who already has maximized their growth, so to say,
But
right?
then the question here is that why not many companies actually do business in Indonesia and they go to Malaysia and others, because this actually reflect what's going on in the market right now. Because if you believe that stock market reflects the future opportunity of profit, then it means that right now market consider that the profitability of Indonesian company might be not that big anymore. And not only that, because we invest in rupiah, then how is the return of rupiah relative to if I invest, for example, in Wall Street,
Malaysia,
or even directly to Wall Street, right?
Wall Street,
So again, everybody will start to compare because that's like the nature of economics animal to compare because you work hard, you want to make sure that your investment give you the greatest result,
of course,
right? Greatest return. Of course, you understand the risk, but and again with technology, getting the information, AI and everything, you can easily compare how much is the net return of investing in Indonesia to other neighboring countries. So that's why go back to Adam Smith, the role of the state number 2, namely
supremacy of law.
Yeah. So IBC in the economic outlook, this year already mentioned if we want to grow sustainably, we need to improve 3 things. We call it 3C.
Okay.
The first C is certainty. If I follow the law, I will not have problem. Can you guarantee that? Yeah. Number 2 is capability, human capital, and also the capability for the companies to basically innovate.
Right.
And not only capability of the private sector here, the individuals and also the companies, but also to the state apparatus.
Yeah, the regulators.
Yeah. From the executive, judicative, and also legislative, because they make the rules, and they actually makes the rule established, right? Because any violation you need to punish.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the complex world, they must have capacity to do that. They are regulators. They are the one that translate policy into the house, right? So if again, this is the whole nation should move up to to the higher ladder of capability. And you need to create incentive to do that.
There we go.
Namely, meritocracy should be in the market. That if you work hard, if you are good, then you will go up. And not if you are honest and have integrity, you will survive. Not being punished or people call it you are naive. This is wrong because right now what we want is that we need to create a system that reward good things, good values as well. Because otherwise, there is no developed country without good values, right, in the world. So, and then the third C is capital. If you have good rule of law or certainty in law, secondly, you have good people and capability of the companies and also state apparatus, then money will come, capital will come. Your dream becomes true because somebody will basically invest in your ideas, right?
Right.
So that's why IBC believe that if we want to achieve higher growth, then create or improve these 3 Cs.
So are you saying that the current economic condition that we are seeing now, one or if not the primary reason is the things that you are saying just now? Is that because our ecosystem within our nation is not really ideal, so to say, for disruption, for business growth, for innovation? There's no consistency in the rule of law, meaning making a lot of businessmen feeling like, if for foreign investor feel like it's not really worth it for me maybe to invest in Indonesia. I would much rather bring my money elsewhere. A lot of businessmen would much rather open their businesses elsewhere because it's more certain. Are you saying that's the primary reason?
Long term, yes.
I see.
And then it's if we delay to do reform, then it will accumulate. The gap of the the gap of the doing business or business climate status is actually will be larger, and then people will go somewhere else. Of course, then what left for Indonesia? Anything that actually about natural resource and so on, because
extractive
that's very
business, right?
Very specific, and that's not sustainable.
It's not.
Yeah. So
an extractive economy was very short term.
Right. Yeah, and again, we make decision today, but unfortunately, the decision today will have impact to the future generation. The future generation of Indonesians that are not born yet, and they are not here to make decision for themselves. Their voice is not heard in democracy right now.
Right.
So we, as adults, should be responsible because, again, Indonesia, we want Indonesia to be sustainable until, I don't know, hundreds of years in the future.
Yeah.
So we must, make sure that Indonesia is competitive and still have resources left for future generations. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that answering your questions like 5.61% in the first quarter, why is that not felt well?
Let's
Yeah.
assume
So-
all of the statistics
Yeah.
are accurate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, looking at the statistics released by BPS, namely Sakernas, the survey of the labor force,
Okay.
in February, it shows that the average salary man in Indonesia is only 3.2 million rupiah per month. It only increased in real terms 2%.
2%.
How come with the increase of income 2%, you can afford consumption that grow more than 5%? So this gap, well, again, if this statistic accurate, it means that those who have higher consumption, I don't know, maybe 10%, 15% increase in consumption, that must be non-laborer, right?
Right.
Capital owners. But it means that, the gap in the society is actually widened, right? Again, this is assuming this number accurate. Yeah. So, and
Do you
if
have any doubt about the accuracy of the number?
Well, LPMFAOE, for example, already mentioned that there is a gap. Again, what we call is actually gap. We cannot challenge BPS because only BPS that has resource to do survey for all production covering all regions in Indonesia. What we economists can do is actually to see the correlation and consistency of this variable to the others, like why the story is maybe not completely aligned. Then there is a gap. Why, when electricity consumption decrease, manufacturing production increase? So how come? Well, actually, energy intensity is typically positive. Like the elasticity is positive. Why this one decrease, the other one is increased? Myself is like looking at for example, tax revenue by the government in the first quarter. That's
decreased.
actually nominally after you correct for the administrative hassle last year.
Okay, cortex.
Yeah, because last year, first quarter, your tax revenue declined by 18%. This year, increased by 22%. So it means that if you net out this, only 4%.
Only
But
4%.
tax revenue is actually imposed on the current rupiah,
Right.
current income. So if inflation 3.6%,
So that's only 0.4%.
that's actually the increase in the economic activity in real terms. So how our growth can be 5.6%?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why what I can say is actually there is a gap.
There's a gap.
Yeah, so I don't know whether that's informal sector or
Right.
whether that's capital owner
Right.
that actually receive a lot and then and they are maybe not taxable. Yeah, so a lot of gap that need to be explained.
So I read a lot of the public discourse basically are saying that the reason why it's that high is because of government spending has increased by a lot. And if we take out, for example, government spending, it's probably only 4 point something.
Yeah.
Well, government spending definitely becomes the reason why we achieve 5.6%, but that's only one element of all the elements of GDP. And why government spending increased so much? Because if you remember, last year there was a efficiency movement, whatever, that's all of a sudden makes government spending, stalled. And then it started, government run normally in quarter 3, the third quarter.
Okay.
So that's why you have low baseline because government efficiency program. And this year you can spend normally. Not only that, the
Free healthy food. Free healthy food. FHF.
FHF
program.
Free healthy food.
FHF program.
I don't know any other program, just the free healthy food program.
Yeah, so in the first quarter last year, of course, it's just started. That's
Right.
why
Yeah,
the
yeah,
volume
yeah.
is very low. And now this year is already scale up. And then that's why it,
Yes.
government spends so much money. But What about next year, first quarter in 2027? Because everything is already normal, already at the full capacity.
Yep, you're right.
Where's the source of growth then?
I guess
right?
we'll see.
Yeah, and not only that, again, this is very important because in economics, because I just taught in my class yesterday, I said that, well, if you believe in Keynesian, you know that there is a role of fiscal policy and also monetary policy to basically manipulate, or not manipulate, that's a bad word, but to basically increase the GDP. But it can only do it temporarily.
I see.
Because in the long term, GDP growth comes from technology, better capital, better machinery, better human capital, more resources, meaning more resources in this. Maybe you innovate something, there is new exploration and so on. So it is not comes from government spending and so on. That's only temporary, or money supply. Yeah, if you talk about the fiscal and also monetary authority. So that can only do
so much.
Temporarily.
I see.
The longer you do it, it's no good for the economy. So it's like giving steroid to athlete.
Right.
Yeah,
It's good in the short term.
Yeah, if you keep doing it, no good for the athlete itself.
Right.
So.
You know what? I'm sure a lot of Weebos and Indonesians, including me, I feel very scared. And I know that if I ask you this question, I know that words can be very prophetic. So I don't want to just ask a question just for the sake of getting an answer. But from your academic and experience point of view, are we actually heading into, quote unquote, a crash in 2026 and 2027? And I know you can say, even if your heart says yes, because sometimes words become prophecy. If you say yes, it will become what you say.
And I mean, there's no knowing certainly 100%.
I'm just saying, according to your knowledge and the trends,
the probability,
and the markers, and whatever you know, are we heading into scary times? I'm not going to say crash, like in 2026, 2027. Are we heading into very scary times? Are we repeating history? Are we going back to whatever history you want to, COVID, 2008, 1998? Are the signs there?
If we don't change the course, the probability is larger.
Okay.
But the correct answer is, I don't know.
Right.
But again, if we do the same, thing, then the probability will be higher.
Okay.
The second thing is the one that is not controllable, namely the international context.
Right, the war. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you very much, Donald Trump.
Not only that, because capital market in the world is also shaky, right? Right now the U.S. Treasury is already like 5.2%. The yield is already 5.2% U.S. And all central banks actually have the UST.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened in the credit market globally. I do not know what happened to the AI betting, productivity, whatever, in the stock market there. And I don't know what happened to the Iran war.
Yep.
So when the context of the world is so fragile, internally, I think we need to do some correction to our economic policies. So maintaining the current course is not healthy because you know that the first quarter, our deficit is already 0.93% to the GDP. If you multiply by 4, because 4 quarters, then you will surpass the limit of the regulation of 3% of GDP. But if you, increase this deficit by releasing a new bill, and the parliament say, oh yeah, it's okay because of the crisis and so on. Investors will look at how are you going to allocate this money. And then if the allocation they consider is not productive, what is the meaning of productive? Of course, reducing stunting is good thing. But again, the outcome is long term. There is a trade-off in the short term. So if the investors consider that, well, the fruit of this, loan is actually the allocation is toward, something that do not or are not productive enough, such that the outcome is actually not improving the tax revenue. How are you going to pay for the interest? Then your debt will not be sustainable.
Right.
And therefore, they will withdraw.
Yeah.
They do not give you loan, but the existing,
They will
you know,
withdraw.
they will withdraw. Because again, money will always go to the place where, the risk and return is actually, better compared to wherever location.
Has this been happening?
Is the investor actually pulling out from Indonesia? The answer is yes. At least they are avoiding stock market. Long-term investors, they do not know where the bottom is.
Yeah.
So that rather to basically, sit
Is that
at the bench.
is that why
Not
it's
necessarily
crashed?
they are leaving Indonesia yet.
Right,
but
right.
They are pulling from the market.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, from long position to short position, it means that if I enter, it's only for short period. It's like take the opportunity for whatever the market or the volatility actually provides. But for the long-term investors, I think mostly they will wait and see, especially when the international context like this. And the second thing, of course, they will compare Indonesia to other countries.
So I do want to ask you this earlier. So I'm just curious because when you mentioned about so the primary reason why the economy is crashing out so much is that there's no certainty in the rule of law. The ecosystem is not really good for innovation, disruption, blah, blah, blah. But I think Indonesia has always been sort of like this. My question is that if geopolitically and in the world, externally, outside of Indonesia, if things are okay, will our economy still crash out? Maybe not as bad as this, but maybe will it still crash out? Or will business as usual cut it, in your opinion?
Still
crash out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you
because all countries, they actually got hit by Iran war, right?
Yep.
But Indonesia market actually dropped more,
Yes.
deeper compared to the rest of the world. It means that there is a country-specific risk that not available in other countries,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
Right.
So that actually attributed to domestic problems.
Right.
And then talking about, the previous question, sorry. So if I look at the balance of payment report by the central bank, actually the portfolio inflow and also the bond market, so the whole, capital inflow in Indonesia is negative. That rarely happen. So answer your question, so whether I already seen that foreigners pull out, or even the domestic investors also pull out from Indonesia to the rest of the world? The answer is yes. But looking at, again, the stock market right now is even further. And if you look at the bond market right now, the yield is going up to 6.8. So that's actually also a symptom that people sell Indonesian government bonds.
Government bonds.
Yeah. And then whatever the substitute, I don't know. Yeah. But if you look at the balance of payment, it means that they change it into the foreign asset, whatever the foreign assets are.
Right.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the narrative right off is people are blaming the war.
Yeah,
They're
people are
blaming geopolitics. They're
And
blaming
all
Trump.
emerging markets actually hit by this shock, but Indonesia actually go deeper. So that's why I said about previously regime shift, policy shift.
Yep.
Yeah, that maybe private sector feel that their room is actually now is
smaller,
shrinking.
yeah.
That's why then people nervous about the growth potentials of Indonesia in the future.
No, I agree. I feel like I'll say it. I think it's true that it is getting worse in terms of government intervention and the capriciousness of the rule of law.
I 1000% agree.
I completely agree. Do you have any?
No, I mean, it begs the question: what can we do? I mean, individuals, right? I mean, economists think in the bigger picture, structures and policy and strategics, but what can the individual person do? That's one of the scariest things, where normal individuals who are look, I just want to live, I just want to have fun, I just want to go and eat, I want to watch movies, whatever. What can we do? Of course, personally, we can take care of our finances way better. Of course, there are individual things that we can do. But what's the hope for you, especially young people? I'm not that young.
You should answer that.
I don't know.
Because you are actually the representative of young
Denni is
Indonesians.
I'm asking the same thing as Sophie.
I'm 32. I am upper middle class. I'm 32. I'm upper middle class.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
imagine people
right.
my age below who are not upper middle class, who are lower middle class. Like, imagine what they're going through.
Can I?
Go,
no.
please.
Can we talk about the president's recent speech about macroeconomics?
If you want to talk about it.
We can decide to cut this later.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
So he announced what is it called?
He announced
Tata Kelola Ekspor Komoditas, right?
Yes.
Where basically, tell me if I'm understanding this correctly or not, but basically every export needs to go through the state now.
Yeah.
So-
Especially with sumber daya alam, especially with the sawit, with the whatever.
With coal, palm oil. How is this correcting the trajectory or deepening it? You think, or your
This is
opinion in
actually
general?
exactly what I mentioned before. It's about regime shift.
Yeah.
That previously, private sectors have, rooms or
Yeah.
freedom to buy and sell to the rest of the world to whatever price, But if the reason is behind this policy shift is about income distribution, then maybe we should, stop a while and then look at the cause why income distribution in Indonesia is so, imbalanced. And then maybe we can learn from Malaysia if we are thinking about CPA, for example. Do they do the same thing, or they actually not doing this kind
Right,
of
for the
policy?
palm oil, yeah.
Because policy shift in the current in the context where international context is still very
Right.
shaky. I think it's just quite dangerous because it will lower the confidence of investors and
Yeah.
also the
Right.
businessmen in Indonesia. We know that CPO coal still becomes like the major export of Indonesia, and a lot of investors, including international investors, behind this business. But again, I totally agree that we need to make sure that the wealth of Indonesia actually distributed among
Right.
the citizens. But again, it is about the how. And should we do this kind of drastic change, or again, if the problem is tax collection or something, can we improve in the tax collection itself rather than like regime shift, like what we are right now? I don't know. The government right now is proposing. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I watched the speech, and one of his key words is kebocoran. Right? Kita banyak kebocoran di mana-mana. Is it really true? Is there a lot of leaks in our sumber daya and our export system?
and
That's what he
is-
said, kebocoran.
And is that like the main thing?
I mean, I know banyak rumah di Indonesia kebocoran, that's true. But is that apakah rumah Indonesia kebocoran karena hujan is a symbol of our economy yang juga banyak kebocoran? I mean, is
it because ada yang ngetok-ngetok terus dibolong-bolongin sendiri?
Right.
Habis itu dia marah-marah sendiri gitu kan ya?
I don't know. Is there a lot of kebocoran in our system?
If kebocoran or leakage is actually because of corruption, let's focus on corruption.
I agree. I totally agree. Corruption and judol.
And then if it is like, for example, smuggling,
Yeah.
then we know there are authorities that actually do the checking, right? At the border, and the custom, and everything.
He
So-
did say in his speech, bea cukai harus lebih kuat dan lebih tertata dan
Yeah, I mean that's why like the previous ones when I say that there are problems, but you have to see the root cause and then focus to find a solution of that problem, because I think there is a like rule of thumb in economics saying like this: if you want to solve a problem, then do it directly. Do not do it indirectly, because then you will create unintended consequences that is more than you actually want to solve. So that's why if the problem is actually smuggling or underreporting or I don't know,
which he thinks it is.
then focus on that. And let's go back to the rule of the state.
Number two. No. You think that the export policy, the recent one that he proposed, it's not that tackling it directly? Because I mean, from his perspective, right, it is tackling it directly because he said kebocorannya is from under invoicing of exports. He says, so now because of that, so you cannot under invoice or manipulate the state, so everything needs to go through the state. Isn't that like sort of direct, or do you think it's a misdiagnosis?
That's when
of
the problem is underreporting. Focus on the underreporting.
Yeah.
Tackling directly. If the problem is underreporting, make sure they don't underreport.
Yeah.
Not make a state get involved and do
change
the
the entire architecture.
Right. Right.
And then you can ask, I don't know, like top companies in the, that's really good in doing this.
Yeah.
How to detect, how to basically check the book and so on, and then have an international collaboration.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of watchdogs as well,
Right,
in other
right,
countries also, and we know that the majority maybe of the export go to Singapore and so on, and maybe China and so on. So I again, that's related to the second C, capability.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate earlier. I totally agree that
because regime change is very, very serious.
It's very
Regime change
scary.
is very, very serious. Yeah, that's why. And the international context right now is not very favorable.
Yeah.
So, managing internal change within the change or within the I don't know, turbulence, international turbulence, that's scary.
It's really scary.
It is very scary. Damn.
There's another narrative that is like going around on social media.
Okay.
That says that actually weakening rupiah is beneficial for Indonesia.
Oh.
Because it boosts exports.
Oh.
Because then, like, when you export, you get more money. There's that. So what do you say to that?
What do you say about these dumbass people who said this? Oh, sorry, did I say dumb? I meant, what do you feel about the people who say that? Rupiah lemah, ekspor kita tambah value. Karena
tambah cuan dong, Bu, gitu.
So what do you feel about people who say that?
Number one, if you can export. Export depends on competitiveness and also freedom of,
Yeah, there we go. Andovi's dead.
Number two is that. And export is not only about goods, but also services. And the deficit actually comes from the services sector. And services depends on the capability of the human capital.
There we go. I totally agree.
And then the third one, again, that's true that, I'm because we do not have fixed exchange rate regime. It means that, we need to allow the exchange rate to, move freely. However, if it moves, or it depreciates too quickly, then what happens is it is about perception and also confidence of the market.
Right.
Because some of the companies actually also have responsibilities to pay in the US dollars, right? Maybe some loans, and then your vendors or your inputs actually come from the rest of the world. And not only that, again, we are open economy. Right. We also use a lot of materials coming from the, coming from imports. Right. And therefore, if, depreciation is too large compared to, of course, your income, then it will create, cost push inflation that maybe some of the society cannot afford to buy, and that will reduce our welfare.
Sorry, can you maybe explain a little bit what this cost push inflation is to our audience? I know a lot of them don't understand.
All right. So cost push inflation is inflation that is caused by the increase in the cost of production. And because here right now there is an oil shock, right? From $70 now becomes like more than $100 per barrel. So what happened here is that cost of production increased significantly. Right. So, you mentioned about supply and demand. So supply curve shift to the left, meaning decline. Then what happened?
High school economics.
GDP growth, slow down, and then price goes up. So it means that if GDP growth, goes down, typically it will accompanied by higher unemployment rate. People get laid off, and then with higher inflation, it means that of course cost of living is higher. You cannot afford maybe some of the consumptions as before. So misery index up. Misery index is combination of inflation and unemployment, and that's become like the scariest challenge, combination for economic policy. Yes.
I mean, I'm miserable. I mean, if there's any indication for the misery index,
Andovi is like that. He's like, woo!
Yeah, dramatic.
Yeah. No, but unemployment rate, that's an interesting thing, right?
yeah,
It says that if GDP goes down, unemployment rate goes
Goes
up.
up.
But now what we're experiencing is that it seems like GDP is going up, but it seems also that is unemployment rate going up as well.
I mean,
It
I don't
seems-
know.
I haven't seen the data, but
I haven't seen the data.
I have seen a lot of like news about mass layoffs
Right. But
and people
but
cannot
isn't
finding
that-
jobs.
But aren't those mass layoffs being offset by the amount of people working in the kitchens for the free house food program? Because that's what I'm hearing, right? So many people are working in the free house food program, so offset unemployment. Is that true?
Well, of course, that program will create jobs.
Right.
Of course.
But here we need to think that, okay, what kind of jobs?
Yeah.
And because of the resources already pulled from other allocations
Yeah.
to this, then, okay, what kind of jobs that actually shrinking from those, yeah. Again, Indonesia needs a lot of good jobs. And
Yeah.
we're actually the source of good jobs from the companies,
Yeah.
good companies, new companies that bring new technology and very productive. Then decent jobs will be there and it will be sustainable. But this program, of course, we do not know, like I mentioned before, next year, what happened? Where is the source of the growth?
Right.
And also, even this year, maybe we already surpassed the limit of budget deficit, right, of
Yeah.
3% to GDP. So it means that we must think about the source of growth that is more sustainable, namely technological growth, namely innovation, and so on. Then the creator of those things actually private companies.
Yeah, I
Right.
So
agree.
that's why go back to the solution. Go back to the job of the government. Number 2.
Number 2.
If there is no certainty, then there will be no companies to expansion, and unfortunately, Kontan in the CEO confidence index that they usually release every quarter. In April, it shows that the confidence of CEO in Indonesia is equal to during COVID period. And it is in the pessimistic zone. Yeah, and that's
can see why.
because of the purchasing power of the consumers, of
Right.
course. And second, national politics. And third is on the geopolitics,
Right.
Yeah.
international condition. So because of that, you can imagine if businessman or CEO pessimistic, then there will no expansion.
Yeah.
There will be no new recruitment for new hire.
right.
If even they can maintain the current
Yeah, there
workers,
we go.
that's already good.
Right,
But
right.
the things that we are very scared is when they actually start to do layoffs. Yeah.
Their own efficiency, right?
Yes. And then, of course, in the statistic, we see that actually unemployment is lower, but the quality of jobs, the quality of employment, namely informal sector and also independent casual workers, serabutan.
Serabutan,
Yeah.
okay.
That's actually increased quite significantly.
Right.
While people who become who the job status is employee
Yeah.
is actually shrinking.
Shrinking, I see.
So I do not say that which one is bad or which one is good, but typically informal workers or casual workers, their income on average is lower. And the second thing is the certainty or the stability of their income is actually lower compared if you are employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 1000% agree.
Yeah. So you can imagine if the income is unstable, then talking about your generation or even younger, I totally understand that a young generation became very anxious. Even if you have job, you are not sure how long actually you can have a job, whether the job will change, whether the company will survive, because the company also face imports competition, right? Coming from different platforms.
Right.
So and then again, and companies also face regulatory changes.
Yep.
So a lot of things. That's why I think all of us in these very difficult times, I think let's go back to our internal strengths,
Okay.
namely, we have to be disciplined and always learning, and then build our capability to adapt
Yeah.
Right.
with the changing environment, because in the future I think linear job may no longer there. A job that provide certainty since you graduate
Right.
until you pension, for example, might not be
They're no longer
available
there,
anymore. So in and out in the job market will be more frequent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The capacity to adapt and the stress management should be there, and I hope that the state can see, our government can see this change in the workplace and the nature of work, and then of course adjust the policy that help us to adapt or even to be able to go to the international market. Number one, number two, of course, policy that actually give more protection for the workers, because the nature of job is in out is not easy for everyone. Because, for example, right now with AI, there are sectors that disrupted in a significantly,
Right.
but other jobs actually augmented by AI.
Right.
But some jobs not displaced at all by AI,
Right.
and those jobs are like physical jobs.
Yeah.
That cannot be replaced by AI. But repeated job and cognitive or non-cognitive actually easily can be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
So looking at this trend, like what the government should do regarding to the education, to the training system in Indonesia, and so on. So a lot actually, challenges that again need human capital in the public sector as well, not only in the private sector.
Yeah, and I think, thank you for that. I think it's safe to say that we're not in easy times. We're in very difficult times, and it's survival mode, right? And we need to strap up and survive as best as we can.
Right.
Okay, I think we are reaching the end. Do you have any more questions?
No, I want to go to the questions from our dear Weeboos.
Yes, so I think you have actually answered a lot of it.
Yes.
So there's only one, and I think this is the most important one.
Oh yes, it's from Agnes TB. How to survive and what investment will do? Straight to the point. It's like Agnes is like, how to survive? And
Where
what
should I put my
investment will
money?
do?
Where should I put my money?
It's a grammatically incorrect question, but straight to the point. How
I
to
like
survive?
it.
I love it.
I love it.
Screw
I love
grammar.
Be careful. Again, do the best in your job, okay? And then distinguish between what you want versus what you need. And then, careful investment.
What's a good investment?
What's a good
now?
investment?
Because right now it's messy, of course. I think the conservative ones maybe the mutual fund in the money market.
Oh, mutual
That's
fund
also
index.
good.
Okay.
Deposit that actually maybe can give you higher return, but stability. But of course, flexibility is important, because if things happen, then you can withdraw.
Yeah.
But if you have plan to go abroad for study or for to do whatever pilgrimage and so on, then of course you start accumulating foreign currency. That's also important. And again, investing in education and skills also important. Investing in good health.
Investing in yourself.
Yeah, investing in good health.
Right.
And again, right now maybe it is not easy to find a job that really fulfill our passion. Okay, but again, with difficult situation like this, please hold on, and then again equip yourself, enrich yourself with knowledge and skills, such that if there is any opportunity, then you can basically jump to better opportunity. But right now, I think do the best in whatever you do, and then later on, I believe that you will find a job that basically is meaningful for you.
Yeah.
And also invest in relationships, because in difficult time we need friends, we need families, and again investing in a meaningful relationship, that's also important.
I totally agree.
I totally agree. But Abigail, there was this one question I really liked that you sent.
Oh, okay.
But I just want to see your reaction from this question.
Which one?
This one is no. It's a fun question.
Yeah.
It's there you go. From Rain.D.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Are we cooked?
Rain, I don't know. You
Are
answer
we
by yourself.
From
Are we just cooked? That's all he said. Are we cooked?
yeah. From a scale of 1 to cooked.
How are we matang? Full matang? Not cooked?
Are we rare, medium, well done?
I love like, are we cooked? Just Rain. I don't know. No. Are we cooked? Sad emoji.
No, but that's real.
That's real.
That is
Are
the
we
question.
cooked?
That is the question.
Yes,
and
yes.
I think I understand why you don't want to like directly
Yes,
answer,
we
but I think you
understand.
can approximate from this conversation.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, and this is genuine. I do not try to make to sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
For business, even a difficult time, sometimes there is opportunity.
Mm.
That's the difference between like the macro versus the micro. Because, well, in the difficult times, there is opportunity. Like, for example, if you sell low quality product, for example, then maybe, your sales will go up.
Yeah.
If, for example, you, run a business of, like pawn shop and so on, maybe it's go up.
Yeah.
So anything that's basically now becomes more economical, it's rising.
Ada kesempatan dalam kesulitan.
Whether that's food, whether transportation, and any services, I think that's going up. So again, for business, there is always opportunities.
Right.
Yeah, it depends, and also for business during this difficult time when it's kind of really low and gray, then you can focus internally in your organization to do some, innovation and so on that during normal times, maybe you never think about it. So this opportunity also to look back at the whatever you do and then start some innovation and maybe differentiate your market, differentiate your product, differentiate your technology and so on. Because market is gloomy, for example. But when market good, then you focus there and never like really look back at the internal organizations. So.
I agree. I think what's important also is what's implicitly said is mental resiliency in this time, right?
Right.
I think I understand that I too feel very, very anxious and really, it's really, like scary times. But I think being hopeless and just giving up is not an option. It's no longer a privilege we get to afford.
Yeah.
I think we really need to have the mental resiliency, the hopefulness, the optimism, and the fighting spirit to survive. Again, like I mentioned, it's survival time, and we're in this together, guys.
Semangat. Semangat. This is a bad joke, but at first time I thought the Indonesian Business Council kan IBC.
Yeah.
I thought it was ikan bakar Cianjur, to be honest. Kan IBC, ini ikan bakar Cianjur. That's what I thought the first time. I don't know, I just thought about that. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Andovi.
you, IBC, thank you.
Thank you, Bu Denni.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
See you, Ibus.
See you next episode.